Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Thursday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. I wanted to come on here at this time so that all of you college football traditionalists that want to watch every game, which sometimes includes myself, wouldn't be distracted. So I waited till halftime of the Thursday night game, and I'm going to try to be done before the third quarter starts. But I want to talk about the intriguing games coming up this weekend, which includes the game going on right now because it is the ACC opener for NC State and Wake Forest. I know NC State played Virginia last week, so you look at the schedule, you think that's an ACC game, but it was a non-conference game. So tonight's NC State's first actual ACC game. Wake Forest leads. At halftime, Wake Forest struggled in their first game, but they're looking better and better every week. So my 7-5 prediction for them may end up coming to fruition. But tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, we have Kansas State and Arizona. I think that's the only game tomorrow night that might be and should be worth watching. Coming up on Saturday, noontime, on ESPN, we have Clemson and Georgia Tech. And of course, if you don't watch that game, you're watching the wrong game. And then we have Wisconsin and Alabama, the noon game on ABC. Memphis and Troy on ESPN. Now the 3:30 window, we have Georgia and Tennessee on ABC. Oregon State and Texas Tech on Fox. This game shouldn't be a contest. Texas Tech should blow them out of the water, but I think Texas Tech plays Utah next week, which will be the Big 12 opener. So it'll be interesting to see, how good Texas Tech looks, because even though they should win this game handily, Oregon State's definitely the best non-conference team they played. Their first two non-conference games were against nobodies. Oregon State's not much better, but they at least have a competent quarterback. ESPN at 3:30 has the Border Wars, two teams that hate each other, but quite frankly, this shouldn't be much of a game. Pittsburgh and West Virginia. Pittsburgh is decent, and West Virginia is just not good. And then the biggest game in the history of the short-lived CW Saturday football, 4:30 this Saturday, we have South Florida and Miami. Now, if South Florida wins this game and they're not in the top 10 come AP poll time on Monday, something's wrong. I know they beat Boise State in Florida, but I actually think Miami's the real deal, and I think Miami has a chance to win a national championship. And if they're legit national championship contenders, they should win this game by 17 to 20 points. But if this ends up being a fourth quarter game and Miami squeaks out a close win, because I do think Miami's going to win, then Miami's not as good as I think they are, and they're probably going to be 9-3, but I think they're good enough to compete for a national championship. Now the night window, 7 o'clock on ESPN, Arkansas and Ole Miss. 7:30 on ABC, Florida and LSU. NBC has Notre Dame and Texas A&M. 7:45 on the SEC network, Vanderbilt and South Carolina. South Carolina's offensive line has just not looked very good in their first 2 games. And I talked about before the season, so far it's been true that South Carolina just doesn't have a downfield passing game, and that's why Lenore Sellers cannot win the Heisman. He's good enough, talent-wise, to win it, but you're not going to win the Heisman on 200 passing yards a game, and that's all he's going to get because they have no downfield passing threat except Nick Harbor. If he's the only one they have, you can double team him, and they have nobody else. But Sellers has thrown 19 passes in both games, so it's hard to believe this day and time, the way football's turned into a passing game, that he's throwing 19 passes a game. 8 o'clock on ESPN2, Duke and Tulane. That game's intriguing because Tulane's former quarterback is now Duke's quarterback, and I think Tulane is a really good team, and I think either Memphis or Tulane, one of those 2 teams will be the Group of 5 playoff team this year, if we have one. 10:30 on ESPN, Minnesota and California has that quarterback that nobody can say his name, and he's actually overperformed so far, been better than expected, so that should be a good game with the team in California that's been better than expected so far, and Minnesota's always just a 6-6, 7-5 team, so they're not world beaters. That should be a good game. And then for all you late night owls, 10:30 on the ACC network we have Boston College and Stanford. So you can start the day at noontime, and if you're not watching Georgia Tech and Clemson, you're watching the wrong game. And you can end it at 10:30 with either Minnesota and California or Boston College and Stanford. So those games will be on till about 2 o'clock Sunday morning, so you can have about 14 hours of college football. Longer than that if you watch Hawaii, because their games start at midnight Eastern time, so they don't end till about 3:30 Sunday morning. But most of their games either don't come on TV at all or come on channels that nobody has, but at least Minnesota, California is on ESPN, and Boston College, Stanford is on the ACC network. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. A company tried to make fake marble tiles for kitchens, but could not make the counterfeit. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.